After Piper and I return from the woods late afternoon on Thursday, I head for the gym. I watch from the doorway as the softball team and Coach Peters exit, heading for the bus that will take them to their invitational. Once the way is clear, I slip into the locker room. Things are a mess inside. Clothes lay draped over benches and a few locker doors hang open, which makes my job easier. Assuming Piper was correct and pine tar really was the stuff used in the gallery vandalism, that's a point in B's favor. Piper said she didn't use pine tar in her artwork. But I know if I'm going to convince anybody of her innocence, I'll need stronger evidence. Something that points to another culprit. As I approach the 9 lockers that belong to the softball team's players, I take note of the decorations and well wishes that cover the locker doors. Dozens of notes, stickers, and photos, all celebrating the team's success. These girls are beloved. I nudge the doors further open, disturbing as little as possible as I eye the contents of each locker. Nothing too exciting. Changes of clothes, shower supplies, typical locker room fare. Disappointed, my eyes drift to the single locked locker in the center of it all. The locker belonging to the softball team's indomitable leader, senior Siobhan Mahoney. She's attended Wildwood Hall her entire life, and between her tenure and her status as team captain, she commands considerable respect at the school. A 4-digit numerical lock secures Siobhan's locker. Locker codes are randomly assigned to students. Trying her birthday or home address won't help me here, but I don't need it. Turning the lock on its end, I find the keyhole present on all of the school locks. I pull out a couple of bobby pins, always prepared, and within a few seconds, I remove the lock and open the door, only for an avalanche of things to tumble out of the locker. As calm and collected as Siobhan seems in person, this tiny space is absolute chaos. I gather up an armful of clothes and scrunchies and stuff them back inside, hoping she won't notice the difference. Then, down by my feet, something catches my eye. It's a bottle. A bottle of Peppy Pete's portable pine tar. Peppy Pete? Fred? I spin around, keeping the bottle of pine tar hidden behind my back. Carla! Oh, you scared me. What are you doing? I reach over and pat one of the notes on the lockers. Just adding my well wishes to the softball team's lockers. Things have been so crazy this week, I hadn't had the chance. I'm sure. The Vice Dean wants to see you. Alarm bells go off in my head. Right now? I mean, it's pretty late. Is the Vice Dean even still here? Right now. I've been asked to accompany you to her office. I slide the bottle into my back pocket. Okay then, let's go. As Carla and I walk down the main hall toward the office, I try to get a sense of what I'm walking into. Carla always seems a little stressed. She's responsible for keeping a lot of crazy kids safe. But in the moment, she seems a little more grim than usual. So, how bad is it? You should have talked to me before you questioned Tessa. Ah, dang it. Professor Tegerton is ambitious, and she'll do pretty much anything to stay in the good graces of the administration. When you showed her evidence from the scene, she couldn't tell the Vice Dean fast enough. I didn't realize she was such a weasel. Carla stops a few paces from the office door. If you want to avoid getting in too much trouble, you'll need to consider your responses when you talk to the Vice Dean. Thanks for looking out for me, Carla. Take care of yourself, kid. I take a breath and head into the office. The school secretary ushers me into Vice Dean Osborne's office. She observes me, unblinking, as I approach her desk. Take a seat, Miss De Winter. I sit down in an oversized leather chair, sinking in uncomfortably. The Vice Dean approaches and holds her hand open in front of me. Please return what you took from the gallery. Sighing, I take my little bottle of goo from my coat pocket and hope the bottle of pine tar I took from Siobhan's locker goes unnoticed. The Vice Dean takes the bottle and walks over to the locked cabinets that line one wall of her office. As she opens a cabinet door and stores the bottle inside, I watch her, perplexed. Things have been so busy since the vandalism that I really haven't taken note of the Weistein's behavior over the last week, but she's been acting different. I mean, this is the enforcer, the dean's right-hand woman who the student body has learned to, if not fear, seriously respect. She's always been methodical and exacting, but I don't know. She's less fiery than I'm used to seeing her. She shuts and locks the cabinet door and returns to her desk. Last we spoke, I told you to leave things where they were, but you've continued your investigation. Why? What do I say here? Because this whole thing's been shady from the beginning? Because I'm having a little difficulty trusting admin considering the circumstances? Because B is a friend of mine? I was shocked when I heard she'd been expelled. I just wanted to understand what happened. The Weistein sits there, still, observing me for several seconds. And what did you find? Well, that's not a question I expected her to ask. I shift in my chair. Miss De Winter? The stuff used in the gallery, it's pine tar. It's not paint. Pine tar? You smelled it in the gallery, didn't you? It was like a Christmas tree farm. The consistency is similar to B's paints, but it's not the same stuff. Weistein leans back in her chair. And what do you think happened? It's just a theory. I don't have any real proof, but pine tar is used by baseball and softball players to improve their grip. And while I was in the locker room today, I spotted a bottle of the stuff in Siobhan Mahoney's gym locker. The Weistein's eyes narrow, but her gaze isn't aimed at me. It's aimed past me and toward the dean's office. Anything else? No, ma'am. Even if Siobhan or the softball team were involved, I don't know why. Very well. I will talk to the dean. Really? The Weistein stares at me. Her expression tells me nothing. Well, thank you. I appreciate the help. As I leave the Weistein's office and head to my dorm for the night, I can't help but wonder, what was that? The Weistein was the last person I expected to hear me out. I don't know if I can actually trust her. After what happened with Professor Teakerton, I guess I'll have to be even more careful about who I trust. But nothing about that conversation went the way I thought it would. Early the next morning, I groggily head back out to the woods for my Friday morning meetup with River. With everything that's happened this week, it's been tough to sleep. And when I do doze off, it's only a matter of time before that recurring dream wakes me back up. In some ways, it feels like not much has changed since I met up with River on Wednesday. I'm back to waiting. Just waiting to find out what the administration is going to do next. And B's academic future hangs in the balance. When I reach the small clearing where River and I always meet, I find him sitting on a tree stump asleep. I get a little too much satisfaction out of poking him in the shoulder. Up late studying, Riv? He looks at me, weary. You don't look much better. Always the charmer. He stands and rubs his eyes. Then he checks his wristwatch. You have somewhere else you need to be? Sorry, I've got to get to the studio early this morning. Peppy Pete's supposed to be there in 20. My brain is so beleaguered it takes a moment for me to clock what I'm hearing. I pull the bottle of pine tar from my bag. This, Peppy Pete? River takes the bottle from me and gives it a confused look. Yeah? Why do you have this? Why is Pete coming to the studio? The Ravenswood baseball team just signed a sponsorship deal with Pete. The team's excited about it. They're going to be doing commercials, print pieces, that kind of thing. I'm interviewing Pete about the deal during this morning's broadcast. Huh. Hey, what was the team's record last year? They made it to the semifinals for state. They're looking good for the upcoming season, although not like Wildwood's softball team. My mind's still sluggish, but I feel the gears in there beginning to turn. Hey, River, do me a favor. You know I'll call it in. Yeah, I know. If you get the chance, just ask Pete if Wildwood's softball team was considered for this sponsorship. Sure thing. Easy. As I head back into the school for this morning's broadcast, I notice that the barricade has been removed from in front of the gallery. Curious, I take a peek inside. Looking around the room now, you never would have guessed it was the source of so much drama just a few days ago. All traces of the pine tar have been removed, and the portraits of the board of directors have been restored to their places. As I stand there for a moment, one portrait catches my eye. The portrait in the center of it all, an older woman with a regal air and a severe gaze. While I've had the opportunity to interview several of the board members in the past, this woman, the chairwoman of the board, has never consented to an interview. According to Diane, she has certain standards. I take a step toward the portrait, and my eyes land on the nameplate underneath. Elizabeth Mahoney, Wildwood Hall alumna and grandmother of the one and only Siobhan. I turn around in time to see the Weinstein enter the room. It appears as if you've put together the last few pieces. Honestly, I'm disappointed with myself for not putting it together sooner. I knew Siobhan's grandmother was on the board of directors. Have you determined the motivation for the attack? I reach down and pull my phone out of my coat pocket. A 4-word text from River. Yes, first in line. If I had to guess, Siobhan becoming a spokeswoman for Peppy Pete's Pine Tar was beneath her grandmother's standards. That made the deal for the whole team fall through, and that did not go over well with her granddaughter. There is some more nuance to the situation, but that is the essence of what happened. Did you talk to the dean? Yes. I was told to halt this line of questioning immediately. Yeah, Diane told me anything involving the board of directors can get tricky. With the dean having put her foot down, I'm afraid there's little I can do to rectify this situation. I'm sorry, what? My hands are tied. Yours are not. The Weinstein's words leave me speechless. If you decide to publicize your findings, I can't say for certain what the outcome will be. Pressure will be put on the dean and the board of directors, but you will likely experience fallout as well. I can't help but wonder, what's going on here? In the 5 years I've attended Wildwood, I have never seen the Weinstein offer anything but her unwavering support to the dean. Has something changed? This is Miss Fisher's best chance at being reinstated. Do you understand? Only now, in this moment, do I truly get what the Weinstein is encouraging me to do. It feels like a punch in the gut. I understand. I wander into the main hall from the gallery. I should be heading for the studio, but my feet feel heavy. My phone buzzes from my pocket. It's River. Hello? Did you get my text? Yep, got it. You okay, Fred? You remember when you told me that I'd have to choose between the truth of whatever happened in the gallery and the relationships I've built here? Yeah, I do. But you and I both know what you'll choose. Oh, really? You're your parents' daughter. You'll choose the truth. I smile in spite of myself. You know, you're nicer after 8 in the morning. Shut up, Fred. I still have a pit in my stomach as I return my phone to my pocket, but my feet feel less heavy and I move toward the broadcast studio. On my way there, I run into Liz, the morning broadcast producer. Morning, Fred. Hey, Liz. You all right? Yeah. You know, actually, would you mind helping me with something? Something for B? Yeah, sure. Anything. Back in the studio, I sit at the anchor desk while Diane and I talk through this morning's stories. And once we cover sports, all we have left are the changes coming to the cafeteria menu. Any questions? I think I've just about got it. Diane gives me a smile. Did you get enough sleep last night? I noticed Junie perk up in the back of the studio. Oh yeah, sure. I'm fine. Mm-hmm. Catch up on your sleep this weekend. I want you taking care of yourself. Guilt weighs heavy on my shoulders. Diane? Yes? You took some pretty big risks while working as a journalist, didn't you? Of course. That's part of the job. You do what you need to do to get the truth out there. The studio door shuts behind Kelsey, the PA, as she walks in. Hey, Diane? Kelsey, what did I tell you about the door? There's a call for you in the office. Diane checks her watch. You'll have to start the broadcast without me. Liz, can you take over? Liz nods, already standing just off camera. You've got it, boss. As Diane leaves, Liz and I give one another a nod. In less than a minute, I'm on air. Good morning, Wildwood Hall. Before we get to today's news, we have a special report to share with you all. Early Monday morning, the gallery off the main hall was vandalized. By Tuesday morning, the administration had accused and expelled B. Fisher. However, while investigating the circumstances, we have uncovered evidence which throws B's culpability into doubt. According to a source at Ravenswood Hall, the girls' softball team was recently approached to sponsor Peppy Pete's portable pine tar. While the team was excited by the possibility, Wildwood Hall's board of directors, namely Elizabeth Mahoney, the grandmother of softball captain Siobhan Mahoney, nixed the sponsorship opportunity. Additional sources have identified the substance used to vandalize the gallery as pine tar. And while multiple portraits within the gallery were affected by the attack, it is evident that the portrait of Elizabeth Mahoney was at the center of the attack. Lastly, it has been brought to our attention by an anonymous source that Dean Blackstone was aware of most of these details and still chose to expel B. Fisher. I look past the camera to see Diane burst into the room, fury in her eyes. I opt to wrap up my report quickly. It is my hope and the hope of this newsroom that, with this information having been made public, the school can determine the true guilty party and exonerate B. Fisher. Diane shuts down the breakers for the studio. I know I'm not going to be covering the rest of Friday's news. Within minutes, I'm being escorted by Carla from the studio into the dean's office. She doesn't make eye contact with me while we walk. Once we get into the office, I come face to face with Dean Blackstone, a tall, older woman who is normally, unsettlingly, all smiles. But not today. Today, she rages. How dare you use the school's resources to undermine? I stay quiet, as does Vice Dean Osborne. She stands at the back of the dean's office, observing as the dean screams at me until she's blue in the face. Dean Blackstone promises to expel me and investigate who else contributed to the special report. But she doesn't get the chance. Rachel Teller, reporting for Channel 5 News. I'm here at Wildwood Hall Boarding School, where serious accusations have been made against Dean Beatrice Blackstone. Within 24 hours of my broadcast, the local news stations had picked up on the story, and the board of directors had fired Dean Blackstone and voted out Elizabeth Mahoney. The entire softball team is also benched until the board can determine who was involved with the vandalism. And, as predicted, I haven't escaped unscathed. The board has banned me from participating in the morning broadcast in any capacity. I gather they requested further punishment for me, but the school's interim dean, Ingrid Osborne, has made no mention of it. So this morning, Monday morning, I watched the morning broadcast for the first time from my desk in first period. Junie grinned from ear to ear as she reported on the school's dramatic weekend happenings from the anchor's desk. The air around me is, different. Professors give me wary looks as I enter their classrooms. Students whisper behind my back, displeased with the benching of the softball team. Diane, she won't talk to me. But on my way to lunch, I get a call. Hello? Hi, Fred. Bee, how are you?
I'm good. The school called my parents today to tell them my expulsion has been lifted. I'll be coming back to school next week.
I'm so happy to hear that.
I know what you did. I heard from Piper.
Of course.
You stuck up for me when no one else would.
And now you're paying the price for it. Bee, you're my friend. And it was the right thing to do. I'd make the same choice all over again.
Thank you, Fred. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, I might have blown up my life, but the truth was worth it. Still, as I head back to my dorm room after school, I'm at a loss. With no anchor desk to return to in the morning, I can't help but wonder, who am I now? And what's my role at this school? As I round the corner, I find a girl sitting in front of my dorm room door. She stands up when she sees me, her face streaked with tears.
Frederica?
I know this girl. Or, I know of her. She's a freshman, Bianca Riva. I heard someone mention her name last week.
Bianca left our dorm room pretty late last night.
I overheard someone say that in the main hall Monday morning. Bianca, right? Are you okay? What's wrong?
I'm in trouble, and I think you might be the only person who can help.
Thanks for listening to Episode 1, Part 3 of Strange Tales. Strange Tales is written, performed, and edited by Laura Ketchum. The song Leaving Home was sourced from Incompetech.com. The Creative Commons license can be found in the show notes. All other music and sound effects were sourced from Descript. Stay tuned for more of Fred's adventures in upcoming episodes.